That's our first story, really. Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, you'll remember, accused by several female wrestlers of sexual harassment, was the Kaiserganj MP from BJP. He's now been dropped, but his son has been given that ticket. So there are several questions that need to be asked at this point, right? So this was announced today. The BJP announced that Karan Bhushan Singh, so you can see the man on the right side of your screen, has been fielded by the BJP for the Kaiserganj ticket. Now he's replacing his father. Now you'll remember that his father, Member of Parliament, was also the chairperson of the Wrestling Federation of India. He was accused by several female wrestlers of the worst kind of sexual harassment, really. And the fact that he remained MP, he remained in power for a very long time. These women had to come out into the streets, they had to protest. There was a committee instituted by the government. The committee then gave this man a clean sheet. They came back onto the street. Again, the wrestlers were protesting. Sakshi Malik has sort of given up her boots and said that she's not going to contest anymore. She's an Olympic medal winning wrestler. And Brij Bhushan saying, after that they had re-elections in the Wrestling Federation of India, and somebody very close to him won that position, and he actually made a statement saying, hey, we're always going to be in power, we're powerful people. Now his son has been given the ticket. So really the question to be asked is this. First of all, like was pointed out, Parivarvaad, right? This is an accusation the Prime Minister himself has made against the Congress. And he's right about the fact that the Congress has accommodated through its own party and through its allies a series of, sort of political families, and continues to do so. But if you see what the BJP has done over the last, say, year or 2 years, they have brought in and instituted several people who were earlier with the Congress, who are also Parivarvaad families. So really, this particular example for me is the worst kind, because instead of punishing this man, remember the Delhi police also has come to court and said that there is enough evidence to point out that this man is guilty of several crimes. So this is not just an accusation anymore. An investigation has been opened. In spite of that, in order to punish him, you've not given him the ticket, but you've given his son the ticket. So you've made sure that he continues to retain power in his constituency, that he will remain a powerful man through his son. And really that's hogwash, if you ask me, because keeping him in power sends a very clear message that you don't care about the rights of those women. And it's really, for me as a woman, a voter, it's a terrible, terrible thing. Karan says, surprise Pikachu face. Amiram says, you are not biased against the BJP. Thank you. Keep doing what you do. It's the only source of news. Wonderful presentation. I'm not, or you could say I'm biased against everybody, right? I personally believe that everybody should be held to a certain level of accountability. And in this particular case, that accountability is not playing out, because here, Brij Bhushan being replaced by his son who nearly looks exactly like him. So that's not news. That's just, me making an observation here. And for me, it draws into question the BJP's campaign against family politics. It draws into question the BJP's sort of commitment to women in this country. It draws into question the BJP's commitment to sports in this country. And really, it's unacceptable on many levels. And this was actually a constituency, a ticket that we were all waiting for, saying, is he going to be given another ticket or are they going to replace him? And yes, they replaced him, but someone who looks exactly like him. They've given it to his son, which is, lip service in every way. So that's the first story that we're talking about. Let's take a look at our next story. And it's being called the Obscene Videos case, instead of being called this sexual assault case, really. And this is where we need to sort of hold media accountable. So if you look at what most mainstream media that's friendly to government or that's friendly to the party that's in power, they're calling it Obscene Videos case. They're calling it the salacious or the sex video case. They're calling it the sex scandal. But what it actually is a sexual assault case of the worst kind, right? So today, the Ministry of External Affairs, and that's Parivarvaad. For those who don't know, quick update. I'm also putting out an entire breakdown video of this particular case that's coming up soon. So basically, there was a question asked by the Congress party as to why this man was allowed to fly out of the country. This came from Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, who's written to the Prime Minister asking him to take necessary steps through the Ministry of External Affairs so that this particular, it says tainted BJP leader, he's not a BJP leader, he's a JDS leader. The Times of India making a mistake there. He's a JDS leader saying that it should be made sure that he's returned to India and he basically faces investigation. Now, that was a request made by the Karnataka Chief Minister to the Prime Minister. What's happened now is that the Ministry of External Affairs has said that this man holds a diplomatic passport, which is sort of the highest grade of passport. They have a separate line in immigration, if you've seen. It's a different color passport also. When they get let through, they're basically considered important people. This man is a member of parliament, and he has a diplomatic passport, and basically the Ministry of External Affairs has said that his diplomatic passport cannot be revoked unless there is a court order, and there's no court order at this point. And since there's no court direction, that diplomatic passport cannot be revoked. There's no clearance that has been sought or issued by the MEA with respect to travel. Remember, he sort of fled the country and went to Germany the day after voting was over. And there are questions now about how he could have left. So, for example, Priyanka Gandhi has said that, every time I travel out of the country, the government is aware of where I'm going. How come they let him out without being aware of where he is? So I'm working on a story right now, drawing a question of whether or not the BJP top brass was aware of what was happening with Brij Bhushan and what the evidence is saying so far. Now, remember, in the meantime, he has put out a post on his Facebook page that says, and I'm quoting, it's right here, it's been tweeted, I'm not in Bangalore to attend the inquiry. I've communicated with the CID Bangalore through my advocate. Truth will prevail soon. 33 years old this man is, and there are 3,000 videos of him abusing women of different ages in different ways while they beg for mercy. Now, he has said that these are all doctored videos. If they are all doctored videos, someone took a lot of trouble for a very, very long time to sit in doctored videos about him. But so far, it's not looking like the truth will prevail in his favor. Of course, drawing a question to the fact that for his particular constituency, which is Hassan in Karnataka, the Prime Minister himself campaigned for him. And, that's an issue as well. Let me see what else we have. Other stories that we can take a look at. This one we've already talked about. Of course, the Prime Minister in one of his speeches today latched on to the fact that one Pakistani minister has praised Rahul Gandhi, and he said that this basically shows that the Congress partnership with Pakistan is being exposed. This is what I was talking about a little earlier. This is a special story in the Indian Express about how the victory margins might be looking very thin, and it's really the migrants that hold the key for Jharkhand. Jharkhand really wants the migrants to come back to vote, and right now we're talking about very poor sort of voter turnouts across the board. Another story that I wanted to talk to you about. So this is basically, I'm reading off the Twitter handle of Suhasini Yadav. So this is the United States Center for Religious Freedom. They've put out a report. And in their report, I'll show you what it says. This is their website, specific to do with India. They've said religious freedom conditions in India are taking a drastic turn downwards. And you can see it here. I'm reading it off the website. National and various state governments are tolerating widespread harassment and violence against religious minorities. They have talked about the Citizenship Amendment Act that potentially exposes millions of Muslims to detention, deportation, and statelessness. Now, in response, Suhasini talks about the fact that the Ministry of External Affairs has called this report propaganda and an attempt to interfere with Indian elections. It's a very serious allegation. And it's a biased organization with an agenda. So the Indian government there, again, rubbishing that another report, as we can see. Also, this is something I wanted to talk about. The police, there are protests right now happening in various parts of the US, mostly on campuses, because young people are always the ones that protect democracy at their own risk. But now we've seen the police now coming in, removing the barricades, dismantling their sort of, they put up tents and they're doing a sit-in. So those tents are being dismantled and people are being detained. Their hands are being bound by zip ties. Um, and this action came after officers spent hours threatening arrest over loudspeakers. More than 1,000 people have gathered here in this particular campus, and this is UCLA in that encampment. But we know that, of course, in New York, for example, the NYPD has marched into the Columbia University campus as well. And this is happening right now across campuses in the US, where people are protesting the fact that the US continues to sort of bankroll Israel's war on Gaza and Israel's assault on Gaza. Another story that I wanted to take you through is Google now moving some of its core team jobs to India and Mexico, what top executives told employees in a town hall. So basically, Google has laid off 200 employees from its core team and is relocating those roles to India and to Mexico. It's part of its downsizing effort to impact online safety. So moving more jobs to India would be, these would be high paying jobs for India, but for the Google team, and we've been reading about sort of layoffs in Google in the US for a while, this is something that is possibly going to be really distressing. So lots of things happening around the world right now. I'm just going to read out a few more comments from the comment section. Let's see what we have. Meritocracy is a pipe dream when it comes to politics, says Alvin. Rags Boy, so we have Manish Kumani says, yes, Hathras rape case was a touch and go case. So if we consider, for example, Prajwal Revanna, and how that is being handled, or if we consider, Brij Bhushan Charan Singh, there is sort of evidence about the fact that Indian politics doesn't really care about the criminal history of a person. They really care mostly about winnability. And winnability is a very specific thing. In fact, for all they talk about the number of women's reservation bill on both sides, the number of women who've been given tickets across party lines is actually still very poor so far. Benny says, Brij Bhushan Singh, you dare trust your tainted legacy upon us again. This time, the despicableness of your offspring. Truth prevailing, never ever a concern. Kalyan Reddy, all Indian communities are happily following their faith at home and in public. Unlike peace-loving nations, instead of teaching India, foreign nations better take care of their own problems. Veni Bala says India is a corporate oligarchy, not a parliamentary democracy. The judiciary is dead. And RSS BJP is the most okay. I won't repeat that, but it's a comment. I don't know if the judiciary is dead, though. Again, that's not something that I agree with. Nathan says, can you do an interview analyzing about IIT students failing to secure jobs these days? That's a good point. We're going to try and look into that. And Sahil says, with regards to Hindu marriages that are not performed according to Hindu rituals being invalid, does this affect only marriages that are done henceforth? So the court has sort of made an observation, but I don't think it invalidates marriages altogether. If something comes up and is being examined, then it would be a problem. But I think if the marriage is registered and you have a certificate saying that you're married, you should be married as far as I am concerned. So there we are. That's the news as we have it today. A couple of announcements I wanted to make. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please sign up for our membership. I'm going to put out a video actually breaking down the entire Prajwal Revanna information that we have on that entire case. That will be out shortly, either tonight or tomorrow morning. So take a look at it. Share and subscribe to our videos. Manish says, any plans of going on field during election results? So right now, no. What we are trying to sort of do with the membership money that we raise is be able to bring you better content and to go on field, not for elections, but to go on field to actually bring you real stories from across the country that are not election related, because it tends to be only during elections that people go out and ask Journalists go out and ask people like, oh, what do you think? Who you going to vote for? What do you think? But I think there are a lot of stories that require ground reporting, and ground reporting is expensive. So we need to, have more and more people support us as journalists to be able to do that. I'm going to wrap up this live here, but I'm also going to, like I said, put out another video today. So hopefully you'll get a chance to watch that as well. Thank you so much for tuning in to What's Up with the News. We'll be here every day, so we'll be here tomorrow as well. And we'll put out the news that is factual, that you can actually rely on. And it's always a pleasure to spend this time chatting with you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a nice evening.